Good morning. Welcome, all who seek renewal in a weary world. Welcome, all who come with love and energy to share. Welcome to those who worry for the future. Welcome each one who is grateful for today. Know that in this place you are not alone. In community, we share our strength with one another, and we keep the flame of love burning bright. Know that in this place responsibility is shared. Here tradition holds us, ancestors shine a light from the past. Here the young lift their young, bright faces and beckon us onward. Take my hand, we can go together. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. I love it when you say good morning back. Welcome to the service of this Unitarian Universalist congregation of Grand Traverse. I'm Marianne Rivers and a member of the Sunday Services Committee. Welcome to those of you who are joining us via live stream and those who are here in the sanctuary. If you're visiting or are new to our congregation, we would like to give you a microphone as you stand up and introduce yourself to us all, if you're comfortable in doing that. Anybody comfortable in doing that? Yes. Although I don't know that he needs an introduction.
I'm Mike McDonald and my wife Sandra. We're former members here and currently members of the UU congregation in Ann Arbor.
Yay.
And we're here for the week, just visiting and having a good time.
Hi, I'm Shelley Bannett. I am Marianne's stepdaughter of 40-some years or so. And I am also from the First UU congregation in Ann Arbor.
Anybody? There is another one to your, oops, there's one. He partially stood.
Good morning. I'm Michael Rux and my wife Virginia Rux. We've been here before, but we're up from Naples, Florida at the congregation in Naples.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry I didn't see you.
And one more over here. Chris?
Good morning. I'm Chris Lane. I was the pastor at Central United Methodist down the street until a year ago, and I've always appreciated the expansive vision of my UU siblings from the Methodist family. And I'm a big fan of today's preacher.
All right. So are we. Anybody else then? Oh, yeah.
I am Haley, and we're from Unitarian Universalist in Illinois. And we're here visiting our grandparents, her grandparents, my parents.
Welcome to you. Welcome to our visitors. That's wonderful. Anybody else? After the service, we meet in the fellowship hall, and there are yellow cups. If the visitors would use yellow cups, then we'd know to come up and introduce ourselves. Let's see, where did it go? We welcome all into our church of wide embrace and look forward to getting to know you. Sharing our joys and concerns with our beloved community helps us stay connected in caring and in celebration. For those of you in the sanctuary, we have a book over here and candles, which you can write in or light the candle anytime during this service. And it will be read later in the service. As we start our service this morning, I invite you to set aside the distractions of your daily life. Please turn your electric devices off so that we might bring our full attention to this time together. We are very happy to have Reverend Jane Lippert here with us today. She's tantalized us with this title of her words today, 6 Impossible Things. How many were able to find 6 impossible things just in your life? So I'm anxious to hear what she has to say about hope and spirit and how we can cling to them in these times of need. Our centering music today with Julie is called Spirit Songs. What if sometimes it's not about a light in the darkness? What if sometimes it's about sparkling potential into possibility and possibility into existence? What if sometimes the flame that burns in the chalice of our faith is nothing less than the ember of hope and nothing more than love set ablaze? What if sometimes all we need to do is follow this flame, one among scores, hundreds, thousands of steadily flickering flames across the land and among so many people on the way to justice and into the land of peace? What if we dare to kindle that chalice. Now, sit back and relax into the quiet of the day and follow the sounding bowl to your place of peace. Now, stand as you're able or interested in doing, and join in our singing on 345 in the gray hymnal. With joy we claim the growing light. Julie will play it through for us first, I think, right?
Yes.
Yes.
With joy we claim the growing light, advancing thought and widening view. The larger freedom, clearer sight, which from the old unfold anew. With wider view come loftier goal, with fuller light, more good to see. With freedom, truer self-control, with knowledge deeper, reverence be.
The book is empty this morning, so let us hold in our hearts those joys and those concerns that we have, and know that they're shared with each of us in our beloved community. And as Alex says, none of us is meant to travel alone. Okay, now. Do we have the, is, offering is right after that? Yes. Okay. Yeah, better, just in case. I'm just a tad scattered today. Thank you for your kind attention and forgiveness. Now is the time for our offering. In the sanctuary, we'll be passing baskets to and fro. And if you're at home, there are 3 ways. You can mail a check to the office here. You can visit the UUCGT.org website. And you can download the Vanco thing on your mobile faith engagement. Oh, I just noticed the birds are, the little, up in the corner. What a kind are they? Robin. She's having another family. We've already had one batch. Now they're up there. So as the baskets are being passed, Julie again will play for us. Chorus of Blessed Spirits is the name of the melody. Thank you. I was happy to be working with Reverend Lippert again this year. We worked together last summer, too. And when she said, I have an unusual request for the reading, I thought, well, I wonder what it's going to be. Well, I think you'll recognize what it is. Unitarian Universalist congregations within the UUA affirm and promote 7 principles which we hold as strong values and moral guides. They are: number 1, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Number 2, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Number 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. Number 4, a free and reasonable search for truth and meaning. Number 5, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregation and in society at large. Number 6, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Number 6, the goal, I just did number 6. Number 7, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. At UUCGT, we've joined a growing number of congregations that have affirmed an 8th principle. Number 8, journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. And now, welcome, Dr. Lippert.
It's good to be here with you all again. I know it's not often and that I'm new to some of you, so hello. And hello to folks who are online. I want to give a special shout out to one of your members, Richard Fowler, who's a good friend of mine and is keeping COVID away from you by staying home today. Hey, Richard. I come from a family of teachers. Well, there's a few insurance guys and a pastor thrown in there, but I come from a family of teachers and 3 English teachers. My family reads a lot. Everybody reads a lot. When the first time Chris came to visit, he didn't quite know what to do. He would be with us and we'd be in the same room reading. But then again, he really likes to read. So he just dug right in and he hasn't left yet. One of my grandfathers was a superintendent of schools, and one of my grandfathers was a custodian of schools. So education, literature, books always have been around. And I was thinking about, some of those all-time winner books. When I was a child, I loved Little Women. I liked the character Jo because she was the rebel. And especially during a time when women weren't supposed to be independent and speak their mind and do leadership things. She did it. I loved that. And I also love Charlotte's Web. Oh my goodness. The impossibilities of animals communicating and overcoming a seemingly inevitable problem as Charlotte the spider and Wilbur the pig, along with the sometimes reluctant assistance of other barnyard animals, work to change the course of Wilbur's life. The phrase 6 impossible things comes from Kitty Lit. 6 Impossible Things is described in the book Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, and of course, it's what we know as Alice in Wonderland. It works for children and adults because there are so many layers of meaning and symbolism along with the whimsical story of Alice, who's just a really fun character. And this particular phrase, 6 Impossible Things, is from chapter 5 in the book, which starts with Alice catching a shawl that's blowing through the air as a means to introduce her to the White Queen. They have quite a conversation, and this portion is near the end of that chapter. The White Queen asks, "How old are you?" "I'm 7.5 exactly." "You needn't say exactly," said the Queen. "I can believe it without that. Now, I'll give you something to believe. I'm just 101, 5 months, and a day." "I can't believe that," said Alice. "Can't you?" the Queen said in a pitying tone. "Try again. Draw a long breath and shut your eyes." Alice laughed. "There's no use trying," she said. "One can't believe impossible things." "I dare say you haven't had much practice," the Queen said. "When I was your age, I always did it for half an hour. Why, sometimes I've believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast." At 7.5, Alice had lost the ability to believe impossible things already. But more often, children do carry this quality of believing the impossible, don't they? They remind us of that. There is deep within all of us a voice. It speaks to us continuously, knocking on the door of our consciousness. When we are children, the voice seems really loud, shattering our awareness with overwhelming clarity. Its loudness is not like the sound of a train or the loudness of a jet engine. It's more like shouting to us in a whisper. When is it we stopped hearing or listening for that deep voice within? When did we, like Alice at this point in the story, give up on amazing, impossible things? How did the White Queen hold on to that ability? When did we stop listening for the Spirit's voice and let outside voices define who we are and what we do because it was reasonable? Author and Unitarian pastor Robert Fulghum, anybody recognize that? Yes, he had quite a going thing. Was it the 80s with his book? Anyway, he tells a story of when he was reminded of this childlike quality. And he said, "Being left in charge of about 80 children, 7 to 10 years old, while their parents were off doing parenty things, I mustered my troops in the church social hall and explained the game Giant, Wizard, Dwarf. It's a large-scale version of rock, paper, scissors, and involves some intellectual decision-making, but the real purpose of the game is to make a lot of noise and run around chasing people until nobody knows which side you are on or who won. Organizing a room full of wired-up grade schoolers into 2 teams, explaining the rudiments of the game, achieving consensus or group identity. This is no mean accomplishment, but we did it with a right goodwill and we were ready to go. The excitement of the chase, people running around, frenzied, the noise got to a critical mass, and I yelled out, 'Now you have to decide if you are a giant, a wizard, or a dwarf.' While groups were together, frenzied, huddled, consulting with each other, a tug comes at my pants. And I look down, and there's a small child who looks up at me and says, "Where do the mermaids stand?" Where do the mermaids stand? Where do the mermaids stand? A long pause, a very long pause. Where do the mermaids stand? You see, I'm a mermaid. There are no such things as mermaids. Oh, yes, I am one. She did not relate to being a giant or a wizard or a dwarf. She knew her category, mermaid. And she was not about to leave the game and go over and stand against the wall where a loser would stand. She intended to participate wherever mermaids fit into the scheme of things without giving up dignity or identity. She took it for granted that there was a place for mermaids and that I would know just where. Well, where do the mermaids stand? All the mermaids, all those who are different, who do not fit the norm, and who do not accept the available boxes and pigeonholes. Answer that question, and you could build a school, a nation, or a world on it. What was my answer in that moment, he says? Every once in a while, I say the right thing. The mermaids stand right here next to the king of the sea, says I, and we stood there hand in hand, reviewing the troops of wizards and giants and dwarfs as they roiled by in wild disarray. It's not true, by the way, that mermaids do not exist. I know at least one personally. I have held her hand. Hear me, this is not a news flash. But we live in a time in our country where there is a force claiming to be the will of God, not my Christian view of God, but absolutely wearing the clothes of my Christian God, a force that wants to, quote, make America great once again, a force that wants to shutter possibilities and creativity and free thinking to claim what used to be. Bring it back again, right? I don't even need to list all the ways that this is disturbing, do I? What were the good old days concerning choices about our health and reproductive rights? What were the good old days concerning the historically suppressed, repressed, and oppressed communities of people? You know, the mermaids. In a time when we feel the sharp edges of this powerful force, such that it feels overwhelmingly inevitable, we need more of the mystical, of the belief that there is always more than what we sense, and that a great spirit is moving toward impossible things. We only need to look for the leaders and the groups who keep their minds' doors open and listen for unusual sounds. Do you know any? I think you might. Look for the leaders and groups who listen to inexplicable data points, dissenting voices, who are open to viewpoints that may be different from their own and evidence they haven't encountered or considered before. People of the Grand Traverse Unitarian Universalist Association and Ann Arbor and wherever else, you have all you need to be one of these groups. You don't have 6 impossible things. You have 7, wait a minute, hold on to your hat. You rebels increased it to 8. You have 8 impossible things that are your principles. The way you aim to work and lead and be in your community and in the world. In fact, this morning, I understand, in the Record Eagle, there were two, not one, but two letters to the editor from UUA folks here, encouraging, imploring people to use their right to vote. In your welcome statement, you say, "We have a mission to free minds, grow souls, and change the world." Hello, you have a mission in this wonderland. When you free minds, grow souls, and set out to change the world, you must believe those impossible things you call your principles. Even though the voices of that "let's go backward" force may shout louder, they may post bigger signs in their yards, they may remind us that God is protecting them. Worse yet, they may taunt us into returning hate for hate. Just remember, your superpower is believing in impossible things. So you don't need to be the loudest or the biggest or to stoop to hateful words and actions, because you have a mission to grow souls, to free minds, and yes, to change the world. I'm proud to be with such a group today. I thank you and your 8 impossible things. I invite you now to the centering moment. And you take this into it for yourself. From Emily Dickinson, a line in one of her pieces: "Dwell in impossibilities."
Would you please join me in singing our song of response today, Spirit of Life, found in your gray hymnal, number 123.
Will you stand as you are able and willing? In the blue book, the teal book,
Hymn number 1060,
1060.
As We Sing of Hope and Joy. And this may be a little unfamiliar, so Julie is going to play through it once before we join in.
Now is a time to gather our thoughts, and head out into this beautiful day. As we release the flame, remember, hold it in your heart and shine out into the people you meet. Is this a time that we do that? Okay. Announcements. I was thinking we might, not. Okay. But anyway. This is your last opportunity, and we hope you will take advantage of it, to have your picture taken. Your hair looks perfect today. I like your outfit. It's just great. And Charles Brackett will be down the hall taking pictures, and this is the last time. And a reminder, Tony Vargas, Under Siege, Part 1 and 2. Remember, he's Reverend Beth's husband. He's a wonderful speaker, wonderful person. He is giving Part 1 on July 28th and Part 2 on August 4th from 9 until 10:15. So you'd be coming to church anyway. It might be a good thing to sign up for. And now I will release the flame. Thank you all for being here today. Now, go in peace and joy.